Next on The Shield, a chemistry grant opens an opportunity for petroleum research.
Plus, up and coming, the VU Gospel Choir is off to a great start this year. The reason for the music? Their story is pretty inspirational.
Well, it was a very pleasant weekend. We have to deal with some rain and snow mix over the forecast tonight. We're expecting a seasonable midweek and a weekend warm-up. I'll have the details coming up a little later in my forecast. This edition of The Shield starts right now.
Live from the VUTV studio in Schnabel Hall on the campus of Valparaiso University. This is The Shield on VUTV.
Thank you for joining us on The Shield. I'm Will Haney.
And I'm Maria Bruno.
The university's chemistry department received a grant for Dr. Jennifer Holt's research from the American Chemical Society Petroleum Research Fund. This grant helps to fund student researchers for 3 years. Along with Dr. Holt, students will be examining zeolites and how they will help to better the petroleum industry.
So students are a very active part of the research. We work hand in hand together. The students are in the lab doing the actual experiments that I might kind of design or come up with. But often we're in there making the same measurements. One student might be making a solution while I'm making some crystals, or vice versa. And we try and flip-flop so that students get a chance to understand the chemistry, and it really is kind of an apprentice type of role.
Last Monday's Martin Luther King Day celebration is well behind us, but there's one group on campus that used it as a springboard. The Valparaiso University Gospel Choir has gotten off to a great start this year, with a few performances under their belt. They took center stage throughout the celebration, and VUTV caught up with the ensemble during last week. It turns out this is only the beginning for the aspiring group of musicians.
As of right now, technically, it's not even an entire choir. It's more like an ensemble because a choir consists of more than 10 people. So we're a little small, on the smaller end in numbers, but I'd say the purpose here is to get the message of God's music out. And women's choir is fantastic. It's beautiful. The music that we sing is great, but there's something missing when it comes to having that cultural identity that I can relate to. It can't be found in women's choir. It can be found in any choir here. So that was the reason for starting this gospel choir. This reason for getting people, not just people of color together, but everybody, anybody who wants to sing traditional Baptist church music. That was the basis for getting those people together.
Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy announced yesterday the House will not be in session the week ahead, quote, due to the severity of the winter storm. It was supposed to be a short week anyway. Today's votes were already canceled, and House Democrats were scheduled to head to Baltimore for their annual retreat for the end of the week. No announcement has been made yet about the Democratic retreat. Votes on an override of the president's veto of the Obamacare repeal, and on Iran sanctions will be rescheduled for February.
Areas along the New Jersey coastline suffered serious beach erosion and flooding as a result of this weekend's storm. Street flooding continued Sunday morning in Ocean City, 2 hours after high tide. But even though some areas were still underwater, the flooding was nothing like it was on Saturday.
Starting tomorrow, you will hear random testings of the tornado sirens throughout Porter County for the next week as a new siren system is brought online. The new warning system has been in the works since last year.
With the cold blast of winter we had earlier this month, it left a lot of people wondering what is a polar vortex. VUTV's Katie Nicolau has the answer.
It's a term that we're all familiar with.
A polar vortex.
Polar vortex.
Polar vortex.
The polar vortex.
But what exactly is a polar vortex? Valparaiso University Professor of Meteorology Dr. Kevin Gobert has the answer.
So there are actually two polar vortexes, or polar vortices, if you will, one around the North Pole, one around the South Pole. And so really it's a product of the global circulation of the atmosphere, that roughly each hemisphere can be separated into 3 parts. And so the top part of the pole is the polar vortex. And so it's an area of cold air that's cyclonically rotating and is generally always there. Now it came to kind of popular nomenclature a couple winters ago when it got kind of taken out of context, in that we had some pretty cold air, which was essentially the polar vortex slid southward and was over us for an extended period of time. But essentially it's just the area of cold air that is right around the North Pole or the South Pole, and is always there, even in the summertime. But it's, a little weaker in the summertime, a little stronger in the wintertime as a result of stronger temperature gradients over the winter hemisphere.
For VU,
I've noticed it's actually been a little bit warmer this weekend, these past few days.
Yeah, I would definitely say that as well. I mean, warmer, definitely a relative term, but it's nice to not have to walk across campus and have that stinging sensation in your face. So Lauren joins us now. Lauren, what can you tell us? Is this trend going to continue?
Well, for a little bit, it will be continuing. As you know, the last story that we just talked about was the polar vortex, but that hasn't been the case. We had that cold spell a little bit, but as we look at the current temperatures around the area, we're seeing a temperature of 37 degrees. We had a few showers around campus as you were walking around outside, but just some general clouds. And as we look at the temperatures right now regionally, we're seeing 37 in Valparaiso, and even down into the Springfield, Illinois area, seeing right around 44 degrees. Now, as we continue, our high temperature today reached 42 degrees, which is actually 11 degrees above normal. And actually, most of the region was actually above normal. So that polar vortex is continuing to stay up north with those warmer temperatures. Our forecasted high today, remember, was 42, and our average for this time of year is right around 31 degrees. And a little bit later, I mentioned a little bit of a warm-up coming for this weekend, and I'll have how warm we're going to get for this weekend. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lauren. Coming up, Alaskan tremors.
Next on The Shield, the earthquake that struck southern Alaska yesterday morning continues to send shockwaves across the state.
Plus, a suspect sits behind bars awaiting charges while Canadian police try to figure out what drove him to kill 4 people at a rural school in Saskatchewan.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it... If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
A strong earthquake struck south central Alaska early yesterday morning, causing gas leaks, house fires, and power outages. The tremor struck at 1:30 a.m. local time in Pedro Bay near Cook Inlet, about 160 miles southwest of Anchorage. The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake had a magnitude of 7.1. The Alaska Earthquake Center reported the magnitude as 6.8. Police in Anchorage and Kenai report no injuries or major damage. A resident in Seward said it was hard to get out of his own front door because, quote, everything was flying off the shelves. Police said an apparent gas leak prompted the evacuation of almost 24 homes in Kenai. Firefighters there were battling 3 house fires sparked by the gas leak. At least one of those homes exploded. 20 people are now being housed in a temporary shelter. The Alaska Earthquake Center recorded some 30 aftershocks, including a magnitude 4.3 quake that hit at 3:37 a.m. local time. At one point, close to 10,000 people were without power because of this earthquake.
Police don't have a motive yet in what could be the worst school shooting in Canada. They say a 17-year-old suspect killed 4 people and wounded 7 others in La Lush last Friday. Police then rushed to the school and arrested him.
Approximately 150 students and staff were in the school at the time of the shooting. 9 individuals located in the school were suffering with what were believed to be gunshot wounds. 2 of the wounded succumbed to their injuries. An adult female was declared deceased at the scene, and an adult male was transported to the hospital where he was declared deceased. 7 individuals were transferred to the La Loche Health Center for initial treatment. 4 of these individuals were transported to the Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon by Stars Air Ambulance. The remaining 3 injured individuals are currently at the La Loche Health Center and will be transferred to the Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon when weather conditions permit.
The 2 people killed in the school were a teacher and a tutor. 2 teenagers were later found dead at a private home. The suspect hasn't been identified because of his age, but he's set to appear in court next week to face murder and other charges. Police are trying to track down 3 inmates who broke out of jail in California. Hussein Nairi, Jonathan Twau, and Bak Duong were all discovered missing Friday night. They were facing charges of murder, attempted murder, kidnapping, and torture. The sheriff's office says the escapees got to the roof by cutting through steel bars and plumbing tunnels. They used sheets to rappel to the ground and then take off. The sheriff's office says all of its resources are being used to find the inmates. Thai and Malaysian officials will investigate whether a large piece of curved metal found on the southern Thai coast could be from missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. The debris was found Friday by a fisherman in Nakhon Si Thammarat province. It was covered in algae, mussels, and barnacles. Matching panel numbers and hinges can be seen on the riveted piece of metal. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 vanished on March 8, 2014. It was flying from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to Beijing when it disappeared from radar. 239 passengers and crew were on board.
A political rally was held for Hillary Clinton in Reno last Friday night, but it was not Hillary herself that was there to speak, but rather her husband, former President Bill Clinton. CNN reporter Chris Buckley has the story.
Hundreds of Hillary Clinton supporters lined up in the rain Friday night for the chance to hear remarks from former President Bill Clinton.
You got to admit this is sort of an entertaining election.
He talked about her commitment to diversity and equality.
Hillary has always believed in the politics of inclusion. Equal pay, paid leave, and affordable child care are economic strategies that will enable America to grow more and be more inclusive.
And about her ideas on expanding clean energy, treating America's growing prescription drug problem, and plans for making college affordable for everyone.
Free tuition for middle-class people and lower-income people who need it, and other supports, and by making sure everybody going forward can have the lowest possible interest rates and a fixed limit on how much they can pay per month.
He called Hillary a person who has always had the ability to get things done and says that's something that will never change.
Every day she will roll that rock up the hill and get something done. If you carry her in this caucus, we need your help.
In response to Clinton's visit, State Senator Ben Kiefer said it's just another example of the ethical lapses and questionable judgment that came to exemplify the Clinton State Department.
When Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, Bill Clinton collected more than $8 million in speaking fees from organizations that had engagements before the State Department at that very time. So now they want to bring this sort of quid pro quo environment up to the White House, something that's unacceptable.
The snow is finally starting to melt across campus. Will the warm-up hold?
Storm Shield meteorologist Lauren Hilko has your full forecast when we come back.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
if you close your eyes? Does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it... If Daniel won't change your mind,
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my...
Well, welcome back to The Shield. We've been talking all about these warmer temperatures, and as we look back at 2015, it was actually the warmest year on record, and we were a total of 1.62 degrees Fahrenheit above average, and that was for the entire planet. And you may be wondering, what is actually causing that? Well, it is caused by the El Niños, and nothing to complain about temperature-wise. We are still warmer and above normal right now. We're seeing a current temperature of 37 degrees with, again, the cloudy skies. There were a few showers around the area, and that will continue into the remainder of the evening as well. Seeing 37 here in Valpo, 38 Kankakee, and back into Springfield, we're seeing a temperature of 44 degrees, and we reached today a high of 42 degrees here in Valpo and 40s into northwest Indiana. So most of the area was actually seeing above average temperatures. Now you may be wondering, what is above average? Like I mentioned, we hit a high today of 42 degrees. Average for this time of year is right around 31 degrees, and we will continue to beat that trend and continue to stay above normal as we head throughout the rest of the week. We do have the chance of some showers in the forecast for this evening. Those will begin to push out of the area starting the day tomorrow with just some general clouds around the area. As we head throughout the day, though, a chance for some flurries will be in the forecast, but we aren't expecting any measurable snow, just a trace and just a few flurries around the area, and those will begin to progress out of the area for early morning on Wednesday, just seeing some general clear skies, and that will continue into much of the day on Wednesday. Future temperatures showing 34 degrees here in Valparaiso, warming up into the 40s by 10 p.m. tonight. We're going to be cooling down and getting to right around 30 degrees by tomorrow morning, and that will rise into the middle 40s, dropping once again to right around 27 for the evening time, and overnight lows will be getting down into the lower 20s across the area, and then for the day on Wednesday we'll be warming up once again into the middle 30s. Well, your forecast for tonight, we're expecting a wintry mix with the temperature right around 32 degrees. The winds will be a little bit breezy though, and as we head for the day tomorrow, a chance of some snow in the forecast. Like I mentioned, nothing too measurable, and we're going to be seeing a temperature right around 34 degrees. Now I do have some great news in store with this 7-day forecast. You're going to be seeing the sunny conditions around the area as well as a warm up. On Friday, we're going to be seeing a temperature right around 37, and the day I really want to point out to you is Saturday. We're going to be seeing a high of 43 degrees with sunny conditions, but as we head into the end of the week, end of the weekend and into the beginning of next week, though, the chance of some showers will be returning as a huger system is going to be moving through, but we're still going to be seeing those above average temperatures. So over the next few days, once we get past those few flurries for the day tomorrow, we're going to be experiencing just some general above normal temperatures.
Yeah, that's not bad for a walk to class.
Oh, not at all.
So we just got to hold out till Saturday, right?
Exactly. Saturday is looking to be dry at this point and beautiful sunny conditions and a temperature in the lower 40s. So looking to be very pretty.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. After the break, David Horak has your full Crusader Sports update. Stick with us. Oh, it's okay. You're the lead. I should have actually known.
On a campus plagued with terrible weather, Valpo students suffer from boredom with no motivation to leave their room. They begin to search for free movies and stumble upon Valpo's new free movie streaming website, where you get unlimited free access to recent movies like Despicable Me 2 and Jobs at the tips of your fingers. So if you're feeling bored, then don't wait. Grab some friends, find a seat, and enjoy a movie on movies.valpo.edu.
Good evening, everyone. The Valpo men's basketball team was busy at work this past week playing 3 games in 6 days, all of them on the road. First one was at Youngstown State, which tipped off just after the end of last Monday's Shield. And the Crusaders annihilated the Penguins 96-65. This 31-point margin of victory is the largest of any Valpo team since joining the Horizon back in 2007, tying the Crusaders' 71-40 win over Milwaukee back in 2013. VU out-rebounded Youngstown 51-20. 12 of those 51 boards came from Horizon League Player of the Week, Vashil Fernandez. Darian Walker and Alec Peters both led the team in scoring with exactly 18 points apiece. Fast forward to this past Friday, where the Crusaders traveled to Wright State to take on the Raiders, and Wright State handed Valparaiso their first league loss this season, 73-62, due to the Crusaders turning the ball over 16 times and shooting the ball at only 36% from the floor. Alec Peters, however, got a double-double that day with 14 points and 11 rebounds. One more step for the Crusaders' road trip was in Northern Kentucky, and VU was victorious over the Norse 71-46. Despite being scoreless for the first 4.5 minutes, the Brown and Gold had 4 Crusaders finish in double figures yesterday. Keith Carter, Tavon Walker, Alec Peters, and Shane Hamming. Next game for the men's basketball team is at home this Thursday versus Cleveland State. Tip-off is at 7. The women's basketball team is in the midst of a 5-game homestand. The Crusaders first hosted Cleveland State on Thursday and got the dub over the Vikings, 66-59. Then came Saturday's game versus the Youngstown State Penguins, and let's get to the high-def highlights. Late in the second quarter, Jasmine Walker drives, retreats out to Abby Dean. She'll take it inside, pivots, and perfects the jumper from 12 feet out. On the very next Penguin possession, Youngstown's Nikki Arbanis dishes down to Sarah Cash, and she gets denied big time by Danny Franklin. She had 5 points, 7 boards, and 2 blocks on the day. In the final minute of quarter number 2, Abby Dean, showcasing her speed, drives into the paint, finds the open lane, and connects on the easy layup. She tallied 21 points yesterday, her 7th double-digit performance this season. Then, on the final Valparaiso possession, Youngstown's India Benjamin forces a Crusader turnover but couldn't keep the ball. Walker to Lexi Miller to Meredith Hamlin, deep triple, jackpot. Valparaiso victorious 65-60, their 6th win at home. Tracy Dorr's Crusaders are at 500 in league play, 4-4, and they hope to get their 5th league win this Saturday at home against UIC. Tip-off is at 1:30 p.m., and that is sports.
Thanks, David. We'll be right back with a final look at your weather forecast.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes,
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
This dashcam video posted on Facebook by the Gainesville Police Department has been viewed almost 9 million times. Officer Bobby White follows up on a noise complaint of kids playing basketball too loudly. Instead of reprimanding them, he joins the game. Then more kids show up to get in on the game. Glad to see y'all, he says this, glad to see y'all doing this than out there causing problems. And he tells them he'll try to bring some of them back up next time and they'll get a game going. As of the Saturday evening, this video has been shared more than 154,000 times.
Kids had a lot of fun, and you know, it did look pretty warm in that video. Can we expect any of the same, Lauren?
Yes, we are definitely going to be seeing some warmer than normal temperatures. We're actually, today we reached about 11 degrees above normal. So as we look at the 7-day forecast, we are going to continue to see those above normal temperatures and sunny conditions throughout much of the week. By Friday, we're going to be seeing sunny skies and a temperature right around 37 degrees. As we head throughout the day on Saturday, the sunshine will return, dry conditions with a temperature of 43 degrees. Like I mentioned, 31 is normal for this time of year, but as we head into the day on Sunday and into Monday, we're going to be seeing the chance of rain in the forecast, and we're going to be seeing right around 39 for the day on Sunday, and for Monday a temperature of 42 degrees. But I do have some bad news in store. I did look at some couple models, and what they're showing right now is we're going to experience that rain and that warm up, but then as we head into the beginning half of next week, we're going to be seeing some much cooler temperatures and also the chance for some snow to return back in the forecast as well.
Well, it sounds like right off the bat, you know, going to class in just sweatshirt and sweatpants, it sounds like good for now, but unfortunately it's just going to have to be temporary. So looking forward to this warm up temporarily.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on The Shield. We'll be back again next week. We'll see you then.